Good morning. Welcome back to my cigar exploration headquarters. It is a bit cold this morning, about 35 degrees. I am spending some time out back here. Going to explore another cigar for you guys. Got some hot coffee here. Let's get right into it. So today we have got the 5 Vegas. This is the gold anniversary. It's got a really nice, pretty label on it like usual. Most of these premium cigars do. It says it was established in 1890. Very pretty. It's got a little bit of a foot label as well. Tells you it's their gold anniversary. Got a crown on there. So this is a Honduran stick. It is a 6x50 Toro. This is a mild cigar. From what I understand, it's called 5 Vegas, or the reason it says 5 is because the tobaccos are aged for 5 years. So I've already got a straight cut on this. Let's go ahead and get it fired up. Brought some matches out back with me today from the Papa Juan cigar room. Made a video about this place on September 11th. Check it out on my channel. It's the address and phone number. There's no wind, so I just felt like lighting a cigar with a match today. I don't know. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you ever just feel like lighting a cigar with a match. It's a pretty unique looking match as well. It's got a black tip on it. All right, so let's get this little band off the bottom here and get this thing fired up. Figured this would be a good smoke in the morning. Nice mild cigar. Just gonna get it toasted up with the first match and use the second match to light it. You guys ever smoke a cigar with a match? Or is it just am I just kind of being silly? What do you think? It's smoking, it's not fully lit. So let's give it another go here. It certainly works. It's not ideal, but it works. All right. There we go. This thing's good. It's got a little spice right out the gate, which surprises me considering this is listed as a mild cigar. I got a little spice on my tongue, in the back of my throat. It's pretty good. It's interesting because I don't know that I've ever had anything like this. This is my first 5 Vegas cigar, but I don't know that I've had a mild cigar that's this spicy before. It's got a really nice leaf on it. It's nice and smooth. It's silky. It's got a great draw. Lots of creamy smoke coming out of this thing. Reminds me of those Man O' Wars. Really like those cigars. I do think it's possible that I paid too much for this cigar though. I paid $10 for this. And just looking it up briefly to find out something about the company, just so I'd have something to say about this 5 Vegas. It seems as though these are going for maybe about $7 online if you buy 5. quantities of 5 or more, looks like about $7. So I paid 10 for a single stick. That's another interesting aspect of cigars, you know. People have been leaving me some comments like that about prices of cigars, and it's just interesting how in brick and mortar shops compared to online, and especially where you live, even in the States here, the prices can vary tremendously. I'd say even more so than bourbon and whiskeys, because people go whiskey hunting, bourbon hunting, and I'd say it's even more of a variable. The cigars are even, you know, a lot of times these places put cigars on clearance, put them on sale. You can really get a good deal a lot of times. I got a video coming for you guys in the next couple days discussing boxes of cigars when you buy a whole box. So, oh man, it's so hot. It's a new travel mug, and it keeps it boiling hot in there. It's almost too hot. That pepper seems to be going away. I'm getting some cedar on the retro. I got some cedar on the nose too when I was smelling it. The cold draw really didn't give me anything besides tobacco and again maybe some cedar, but it was very mild. This is a nice enjoyable morning cigar. I noticed here on the the thing, and they covered up that it's, you know, it says handmade there, and they covered it up, like almost like this band is for a larger gauge cigar, and they just use them on the smaller ones as well. Some interesting things, you know. Notice things like that. This one isn't like that. This one has a lot of space on the side like that. Great ash on here. Good quality cigar. That this Papa Juan's cigar lounge was interesting. It's just a like you think of like a little strip mall. You know, here in America, excuse me, we have these little strip malls, and it's basically just like a little store in a little strip mall with windows that open in the front, and a walk-in humidor that wasn't much bigger than a closet, and a restroom, you know, and some TVs, and of course some chairs. I didn't notice much ventilation other than those windows, so I'm curious what it's like in there when in the wintertime or when it's cold. Great selection, great people, nice people. Everybody was super friendly, like you'd expect in a cigar room or a cigar lounge. But they didn't have anything to drink, and a lot of times these places, you know, you pair a cigar with a whiskey or a rum or cognac or a soda, whatever you want. But they didn't have anything to drink, so you went 2 doors down to another bar, well, to a bar, and then you could bring the drink back into the cigar lounge. And I just thought that was pretty interesting. They sort of have a relationship. I'm sure the bar doesn't mind, you know, and the cigar lounge wants you to come in and smoke. So they're like, yep, go walk 2 doors down and get a drink, into another little strip mall thing that was like a little restaurant and a bar. Had an old-fashioned. I asked the guy what whiskeys he had, because I like whiskey neat, and He said he had, Bullet and Woodford, the standard ones that seems like every bar has nowadays. And I was like, all right, I can deal with one of those. I said, unless you want to make me an old fashioned. And he was like, yeah, he's like, I'd love to. He got excited. And he made a great one. I had 2 of them that day. But it was neat because he was like, oh, let me go get an ice cube. And he went in the back room somewhere and he came out. And the ice cube was one of those, you get the square ones or the big round ones in your drinks like that. And the one he had was a skeleton, like a skull, not a skeleton, a skull, like a head shape. It was pretty cool. I have a picture of it. It was a pretty neat ice cube, the neatest ice cube I've ever seen. I'm sure they have lots of things like that. I was at Nobu in Atlantic City a few months ago with a friend of mine having dinner, and they had the square cubes, but it said Nobu on it. It had their writing on it. So I guess it's not that fancy, but I thought the skull was kind of neat. My nose is running a little bit. Sorry about the sniffing. I'm trying not to blow my nose here on camera. It's cold today. You can almost see your breath. It's close. Like it's a couple degrees away from being able to see your breath. Yeah, so that spiciness went away. I don't know if it's because it was my first cigar of the day. Maybe I just detected spice and this stick doesn't even have it. Maybe it's just my mouth reacting to the smoke and the cigar. But it's gone. There's no spice anymore. It's not on my tongue or mouth or throat or anything. Wow, this is really enjoyable. Definitely mild smoke here. Like I said, I may have overpaid a little bit, but I think this is definitely a $7 cigar. I just don't know if it's a $10 cigar, but had I seen it online for 10, I might be saying it was worth 10. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little too hung up on the dollars on these things too, but I think it's sort of important. Definitely not to get ripped off. So what's everybody up to today? What are you guys doing? Is it cold where you live? I had some subscriber comment to me. He's from Egypt. What's the weather like? Does the weather change in Egypt? I'm not trying to be inconsiderate or ignorant, but is it always hot? Or do you have seasons over there? If you're watching this, buddy, let me know. I know he was saying he's struggling to get certain cigar brands over there. Then there was a guy, or I'm assuming it's a guy, I don't actually know, guy or girl, commented to me from Cape Town in South Africa that they can't get Perdomos there. And I was like, oh, that really stinks. He was asking me to send him some if possible, and I can't send cigars, but I could get to Cape Town one day and bring some cigars. If I ever do, I'll bring some Perdomos. Ash is great on this thing. It's really hanging on. What are we about? 12 minutes in. About a third of the way into the cigar. Nothing's really changed. It's just gotten better. The head of the cigar is so nice. I talked about this in my other videos, but it just gets smooth and nice as you smoke it. If it has a nice leaf on it. Yeah, this thing is good. Nice, creamy, mild cigar. Taking advantage of the no wind today. It has been windy here where I'm at in southeastern Pennsylvania. It's supposed to warm up again next week, be in the 70s, 40s at night, 70s during the day. I think today the high is like 60, so nice smoking weather, but I don't want to be on camera shivering for you guys. I don't think anybody wants to see that. All right, let's put this down, see if the ash is going to come off of it. It wants to come off. That ashtray over here. Perfect. That way when the ash falls off, it doesn't... Oh, there you can see my breath. Told you it was cold. There's the proof. Yeah, this is just getting better. Maybe this is a $10 stick. You be the judge. Tell me in the comments, have you had one of these? What'd you pay for it? Yeah, the retrohale's mild. Definitely no problem with that at all. This thing's nice. All right, this ash is gonna fall any second. I can tell. It's getting loose. Oh, now I figured out how you can see my breath because the hot coffee and my breath is hot. It makes sense. Well, it took me 3 matches to get this thing lit right, but it's certainly burning good. It's a little uneven, but it doesn't bother me. It'll straighten itself out. I'm back. Couldn't take it. I had to go do the nose thing. I just didn't want to do it on camera. Well, now I almost have to see how long this thing's going to last. I mean, we've got a third of it in an ash. That's always a good sign. It's got some quality Honduran longleaf tobaccos in it. Long filler tobaccos, that's for sure. 5-year aged tobaccos. It's also pretty good. I mean, I'm not getting a whole lot on this thing other than tobacco. Very mild, high quality tobacco. I could probably find some nuttiness in here. It's very creamy, and I'd say a little nutty, but yeah, I mean, this is just a very mild, nice smoking, easygoing cigar. It's the weekend where I'm at. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Hope everybody has a good, safe, productive, fun, enjoyable weekend. Give me a comment. Let me know what you're smoking, what you're drinking this weekend. I'll definitely put out another video in addition to this one. Probably a Perdomo. You know, I got a few of those locked and loaded. They'll be coming soon. Yeah, this ash is ridiculous. I thought for sure by now it would fall. It's starting to bend, tilt a little bit. Wow, that is some good coffee. I didn't actually make the coffee this morning, but I think that's Black Rifle Coffee Company. I know it's hot and it just has heavy cream in it, just like I always do it. I always say I'm sweet enough. Oh, we are almost at the halfway point. I mean, this thing is really, really doing well. This is definitely the longest ash I've ever had on anything. I've definitely never smoked half a stick and had the ash hanging on, so. I just felt the band come loose. You see it's it's getting hot here. See, it's loosened up. It's getting warm. That happens to me a lot. Even when I'm alone and I'm not taping, making a video, I never pull the bands off until they get loose, until they get warm. I've done that in the past when I was a real amateur, and it has actually pulled the leaf off before. So it didn't affect the cigar the way it smoked or the flavor or anything, but it started to come unraveled. Like it had a spot that kept getting worse and worse as I smoked. So I never take them off until they're loose. Oh, there's a little breeze kicking in now. Okay. My timing was good. see the veins from the leaf in the ash. It's pretty cool. Oh, there it goes. Wow. I would say, you guys leave me a comment, let me know what you think, but I'd say that was about half, a little less probably, if I'm being honest, a little less than half, but that was a record for me. And I wasn't even trying to do that. Like, that wasn't part of my thought process for this video, was let's see how long you can keep an ash on. Just happened to do that. That's the nice thing about some of these longer videos, is things just happen. I made a longer video about one of those quorums and ended up pulling some big stem out of the head of it. Didn't affect the cigar. The cigar was fine. Smoked it. It was good, but didn't ever expect to have a big old stem. It was hard too. It was like it wasn't even a stem. It was like a stick. I guess a stem is a stick, but it was a thick. Check that video out. That's a quorum shade. A quorum shade. That's what we got left. Like I said, about half. Definitely half if you're not. I mean, I'm not going to smoke it past, you know, I'm not going to burn my lips on this thing, that's for sure. It says, a grand Cuban tradition. I don't know if I pointed that out. I'm sure you guys saw that, but it says a grand Cuban tradition right there. See it? These may have started in Cuba, and, you know, when the embargo happened, they went to Honduras. Makes sense. That's what happened with a lot of those really good Cuban cigar producers. They went to the Dominican, Nicaragua, Honduras. It's getting a little more intense now. Not spice, though. Just more strong flavors. It's starting to leave that sort of cigar taste in my mouth. So as it goes, it's maybe going from mild into medium. You know, this is all personal preference, too. You know, some people would say, oh, that's a medium cigar, or some people would say that's a mild cigar throughout. You're certainly not going to say this is a full-bodied cigar. It definitely doesn't have that characteristic. This is a Connecticut leaf. Yeah, the retro is different. The retro's spicier now. Maybe not spicier, but more intense. A little bit more difficult to handle, so to speak. Yeah, another one of mine that I recommend. Absolutely. There's been very few premium cigars on this channel that I wouldn't recommend. I actually can't think of one right now. You also may be tuned into a channel with a person that really likes cigars. So I pretty much like everything. I haven't had anything that I really despised. I've had things that were too strong. So off the top of my head, what was that one that I had that was pretty strong? Oh, the Cohiba Puro. Way strong. That thing was killer. Not that I don't recommend it, just a heads up that it's really, really strong. not something I would buy all the time and smoke. If you hand me one, I'm going to smoke it. And it didn't go to waste. I finished the one I had, but I wasn't upset when it was gone. You know, there was a Rocky Patel Decade. That thing was also real strong. But very enjoyable. Just a lot of strength in that. I did the Cohiba Red Dot. Check both those videos out on the Cohiba. I've also got another Cohiba that I'm going to do soon. I've noticed when I do these straight cuts, at some point this will happen as this starts to get really wet. But this is a sign of a great quality cigar. That's just part of the cap that I cut that didn't come off. It actually is a good thing that it comes off like that. You can see it's just perfect. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I hate to take this label off here. It's so pretty. It's just a really pretty gold and white, gold and cream colored label. Band. I don't know what to call it. If you watch my videos, I call it different stuff in every video. The wrapper, the band, the label. Band, I guess, is the real term because it is banded around. Wow, this thing is yummy. This is the cup I'm using. You probably saw the bottom. Just a standard. I think this was from like a Target or a Walmart, Marshalls, one of those. It's not a very fancy, expensive cup. It's not a Yeti or a. I guess the Yetis are the most popular ones. It's pretty standard. It was like $10. It keeps the. I mean, if you're looking for something to keep your beverage scalding hot, this will do it. It keeps it so hot that I actually brew the coffee. Well, this morning it was brewed for me, but I actually pour it in here and don't put the lid on right away. I pour it in and let it sit in here for a little bit, and then I put the lid on. Because if you put the lid right on and it's freshly brewed, it's undrinkable. It's so hot it'll burn your mouth. The band's starting to get a little discolored. It's starting to get a little yellow from the smoke getting close to it. I'm open to suggestions as well. If anybody can think of any videos that they'd like, if there's a stick you'd like me to try, I'd be happy to explore one. All right, so let's go ahead and take this off here before I'm starting to smoke it, which that's another thing I wanted to ask about, if anybody knows about that. Does anybody know, does anybody smoke the band? Does anybody just let it burn? I'm assuming no. You know, I don't think you want to smoke sort of whatever this is made out of, you know. It's textured, it's raised, and it doesn't seem like it would be a good idea to smoke that in your, well, it's not going in your lungs, but even in your mouth. So here's that part I was talking about where it's over it. See that? And when you open it, it's handmade, imported. See that? It's almost like they use the same band for all their sticks, even their bigger ones. I'll have to look next time I'm in the store, next time I'm in a brick and mortar, I'll look at some of these and see. if other ones are like that. Let's take a look at it again one more time. A lot of times it has information on the inside. This one does not. Same thing with this. I showed you this earlier. This was the foot wrapper. Just adds a nice classy touch to the stick. Also, I was watching Cigars Daily with Tim, and he said that it's a nice feature when they do that in case the cigar were to fall. Sometimes that foot wrapper will keep it from cracking on the foot end. I had a cigar do that. I had one of my Perdomos, the wind blow it off my table, and it fell, and it did actually crack the foot end. I forget which one that was. That might have been the Lot 23 Maduro I just made a video on. But it didn't affect it. It didn't hurt it, but I was a little nervous that it was going to I was afraid the cigar was going to open at the end. Like, it was like a flower when I lit it because it had that crack. And it was a good size crack too. It was like a 1/2 inch crack in it. Maybe with a lesser quality cigar, it would have came apart. It would have gave me problems. Perdomo's quality is just fantastic. I keep making videos with, other cigars, and then inevitably end up talking about Perdomo. I would say it's pretty safe to say that's my favorite. The only thing I could say about Perdomo, if I were to say one slightly negative thing about it, is that they burn quick, in my opinion. Now, I've referenced this before many times. I'm a fast smoker. Excuse me, but they seem to burn pretty quick. And maybe also because I enjoy it so much, I'm smoking it so fast. Let me know. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have Perdomos, if they burn quick. I've watched other people smoke them, and nobody mentioned that. Ooh. Just got something there. Something a little extra than I've gotten so far. Getting into the last third here. Yeah, it's getting more nutty now. That little bit of nuttiness that I detected earlier, it's coming out now. It's like a cashew nuttiness. And when I describe nuttiness in my videos, when I say peanut shells or cashews, I'm talking about if you took peanut shells and smelled them, not shoved them into your face either. Like you had a handful of peanut shells and you were like, here, sniffing them. That's what I'm getting when I say peanut shell. And same thing with cashews. It's like if you had a couple cashews in your hand, like roasted cashews, and you just kind of smell them a little bit. It's pleasant, but it's not overwhelming. Like, it's not like you smoke a cigar and it tastes like peanuts. It just has that tinge of slight nutty peanut or cashewness. I detected other stuff too. Like, I thought I got some walnut in a cigar before, but it's mostly the peanut and cashews in most of these sticks. Yeah, really good tobacco, mild, yummy. You can really taste the tobacco on the back of your tongue. It's a really pleasant flavor. And then you're getting like the aftertaste, is the cashew. Yeah, this is one of those ones where I'm going to be slightly sad in about 10 minutes when this thing's gone. This is really a good one. I really, really think that I can pair things well together. That was never an intention on this channel, was being some pairing guy, but I mean, this is definitely recommend this cigar with coffee. I mean, this thing goes great with it. Nose is running again now. Sorry about the sniffing. Lots of birds out here. You can see behind me there's a big tree line. Birds love those trees back there. I get everything here. I get, everything from robins, to crows. Everything in between, cardinals, blue jays, sparrows. And you'll see, birds of prey. Other than crows, you'll see crows birds of prey? I guess not. They're more like scavengers, I think. But, there's hawks. I haven't seen an eagle here. I haven't seen an eagle, but I've seen hawks. And what's the other one? What's the other bird that's like a... Down the street, too, I've seen vultures. I've actually seen vultures. And not like eating something on the road. You ever see vultures eating like roadkill? It's so gross. I've seen them just like flying and then perched in trees. Coming up on about 40 minutes with this cigar from the time I lit it. Yum. This thing is yummy. It's definitely getting more intense though as it goes. That burn pretty much evened out. I mean, it's a little uneven, but for lighting it with matches and lighting it uneven, for it to only be like this, no complaints here. Oh, it's still smoking hot. As far as I know, I don't have a cold or anything like that. It just literally is the heat of the coffee and the temperature outside that's making my nose run so much. But hey, it just proves I'm a human and not a robot. What movie is it where... Oh, I know what movie it is. Total Recall. With Arnold Schwarzenegger, the original Total Recall, where he's trying to determine... They told him he's in a dream, that he's still at Recall, at the place that they, started at. And the Recall guy, the guy that owns Recall, is trying to get him to sort of give up. And he sees a bead of sweat drip down the guy's face or neck, I forget, something, and he just shoots him because he knows that he's not in the dream, or he thinks he's not in the dream, whatever. I'm going to use a big word here. At the end, though, they leave it ambiguous whether or not he's actually in a dream. I wish they would have made a sequel to that. That would have been great. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I always used to see him, when I was younger, before I got into cigars, I'd always see him smoking cigars. You'd see him in public. They'd the paparazzi would get him in public, or you know, even in his movies, he smokes cigars. And I always thought like, oh, he's just doing that, you know, because it makes you look macho. Before you get into cigars, you have this preconceived notion of what cigar smokers are smoking cigars for, basically. Like, he looks cool. And, you know, after watching him and getting into cigars now, and then watching interviews with him and him talking about cigars, and, you know, I get it now. I get why he's been smoking cigars his whole adult life. I know Cigar Aficionado is a good interview with him if you want to watch him be interviewed. Yep, disappointment's starting to get here. Not disappointed in the stick, disappointed that it's going to be gone soon. Can't think of many other ways I'd like to spend an hour than with a fantastic stick. Whether it's with coffee or whiskey. Usually that's how I smoke, with one of those two. Even when I'm not on camera, I've got some bourbon, some rye whiskey, or some coffee. Just really seem to go well together. Hope everybody's taking care of themselves and each other. I said it earlier, but I hope everybody has a great weekend. I will see you guys later this weekend. I'm going to put out another video, most likely a Perdomo. If you care, if you've made it this far in this video, you probably care. And you probably are smoking with me, hopefully. And if you do, and you are, and you want to leave a comment, let me know if you want me to smoke another Lot 23, if you want me to smoke another Habano, you know, the two Perdomos that I have locked and loaded. And if you want me to smoke something other than those two, that's a Perdomo, let me know. I've got a couple other things. I got to check what I've got. I went a little nuts in the Perdomo section of Cigars International and grabbed a few. Couldn't help it. I wanted to try them. I wanted to explore them with you guys. Been watching some playoff baseball. I don't know if you guys care about baseball. I know football is a lot more popular, but I'm a big baseball fan. So I've been watching some playoff baseball. It's been pretty exciting, actually, if you like baseball. You're in the championship series now. You got the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees and the Guardians, formerly the Indians. This thing's getting small now. We're in nub category, nub territory here. Don't forget to breathe when you smoke cigars too. Take deep breaths. Clear your palate and your lungs and your nasal cavity and everything else out. Get some air in there. Even take another draw. It's kind of more fresh. What do you guys think? You think this was a 50-minute cigar? We're coming up to the 50-minute mark in the video. We're at the 50-minute mark in the video. I lit it a few minutes in though. So I'd say for an average, maybe above average, you know, smoker as far as speed, About a 50-minute cigar. Pretty good. Getting down to the end of the coffee, end of the cigar. Life is good. At least right now. It's getting a little hot. Heat-wise, smoke's getting a little hot. All right, I look forward to hearing from you guys. Ooh. All right, that's it for me. Not happy about it, but that's it for me. Like I said, I cannot burn myself on a cigar. All right, I will see you guys in the next video.